Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Ed Block CourageCast, and maybe the last one for 2024 as the holiday season is upon us. I'm your host, Dave Steinwedel, pleased, as always, to be joined by my two great co-hosts. We're down a co-host. Duane Brooks is busy working, so unfortunately not here with us tonight, but we will see him in the new year. But I got my guys, former NFL offensive lineman, Ed Block Courage Award recipient. That would be Wally Williams. Wally, welcome back, sir. How are you doing on this fine night?
I am fine and well, gentlemen. How you fellas doing this evening? It's always good to see you cats too, man. It's always good.
Is a great time. We also have former NFL defensive lineman, and he's got an old buddy coming on the pod tonight. I know he's excited to talk with. That would be our guy, Duane Clemons. DC, great to see you. How are you on this final show of 2024?
I'm doing excellent. Nice to see you guys. Always big hugs, Wally and Dave and Jay and my boy DB, wherever you are out doing your thing with the kids.
Taking care of the children, man. Taking care of the children. Basketball season is heavy right now.
That's right.
It is. Somebody's got to do it, man. I wish we could clone him and get 2 or 3 of him.
Well, we have a great podcast tonight for this show. We have another new Ed Block Courage Award recipient joining us to talk about being a recipient. He's part of a team that's kind of got an interesting situation going on with the Atlanta Falcons. That would be one, Grady Jarrett is going to join us here any moment now. And then we're going to be joined a little bit later by former Minnesota Viking and DC, your ex-teammate, Mike Tice is going to join us. And then we got one more, because you know us here at the Ed Block CourageCast, we don't just stop there. We have one more great guest tonight. That would be former Philadelphia Eagles. Sam Barber is going to join us at the end of the pod for what should be a great conversation. Really looking forward to that. It is an interesting time of the year for football. We have the college football playoff getting ready to get underway this week. We have college football playoff going head-to-head with NFL Saturday.
I mean, what do you guys think was the big – I'm just going to throw a curveball at you right quick. You know, a couple of days ago, yesterday, I was hit with some news that rattled, I think, the fabric of college football. Okay, I don't know if you guys caught this story, but the quarterback for Vanderbilt, and I can't come up with his name right now.
Diego Pavia.
There you go. Just so you know exactly the lawsuit that I'm talking about, that was actually that he won, which allows junior college athletes now to come into a 4-year program and not lose any eligibility. So those 2 years in junior college don't count against your eligibility anymore when you come into a 4-year program. I mean, what do you guys think about that situation right there, how that sets things up for other? I think it just tell me what you think about that.
I love it. I think that's, give these kids as many opportunities to get a bag, give them as many opportunities to develop, and as many opportunities to get a shot at the professional level. I see so many kids getting 6 years, 7 years. We've seen with COVID, guys dang near 28, 29 years old coming out of college. So, hey, if that's what it's taking now, then go ahead and give them a couple more years, especially now that they've turned JUCO and high school and even college football into a business.
I do think along those lines, I agree with DC. Like, look, there is that part of, hey, let's sort of get what we can while we're in college as much as we can. Because, again, the reality is not everybody that plays college football goes pro. And we all know this from covering the sport or playing the sport, that it's really hard to go from college to the pros. Even though you watch the college game now and you go, okay, you watch the Alabamas and the Tennessees and you go, there's a lot of guys that are Sunday players on those teams. So there is that notion of, yeah, let's get the players what they deserve, what they need, because this might be their best chance to get that generational wealth. I think the notion to the people that are like, oh my God, we're going to have these 8 and 9 year guys, I think that's a little absurd. I don't realistically see that happening as much as like everybody, the sky is falling. People have tried to convey to everybody that this is why this is bad, is because we're going to have all these 8 and 9 year kids in college. That's not realistically what's going to happen. I think you're going to have some guys that do that. As we get ready to welcome in our first guest of the night here, but Wally, let me get your opinion here before we bring in our first guest.
Well, I think it's twofold here. I think one thing it does is that it allows the guy, and see, DC can attest to this because he went to a big time program. Okay. See, guys like him, with first round picks and everything, with all Americans and all those things like that, the accolades of what they are. But there's those other teammates that are not going to go to the NFL, okay, that are solid athletes. See, now those guys get a chance to be millionaires now, right out of college. Okay, and on top of that, I think at some point the universities are going to have a plan with this, and I believe that junior college will start becoming farm teams to other major programs.
And Wally and Steve, we've seen certain programs build their whole program on that whole thing. Like, obviously BYU and Utah State, they have a lot of guys that were older because of the Mormon thing, and being, those guys go on, take a few years to do their religious I forgot
missions.
what it's called.
Yeah,
the missions. And so they come back, and these guys are grown men with kids and families, and they're going to college, and it's like, I remember playing with guys that were 27 and 28 years old, and it was just like, man, y'all are already on a much different level. I'm 18. Ain't no way I can compete with you mentally. Even though physically I know they weren't the best athletes necessarily.
Let's pause right here. I want to bring in our first guest. He is a longtime NFL defensive lineman with the Atlanta Falcons, and now is a member of the Ed Block Courage Award fraternity, as he is the 2024 Ed Block Courage Award recipient for the Atlanta Falcons. Grady Jarrett, kind enough to join us. Grady, are you with us, and how are you doing tonight?
Little man.
How y'all doing?
We are doing well.
Bro, that's real life for JD.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We're talking about the ruling for the NCAA yesterday with Diego Pavela, the Vanderbilt quarterback. As a guy that played college football, does it change the fact that, in your eyes of college football, the fact that now that pretty much guys don't lose their eligibility right away like it used to be when you played?
Yeah, I definitely think it changed the fact that you don't. You gotta catch me up on what exactly happened with the player that we're talking about.
Wally's
got this one a little bit better, so I'm gonna let Wally.
So the ruling on that they had with the quarterback at Vandy is that what they said is that all of your junior college eligibility does not have any effect on your 4-year eligibility when you go to another program. So you pretty much retain all 4 years, and those junior college years don't count anymore.
Oh wow, yeah, that's crazy. But I can't say that's crazy.
You're right. That's crazy, right?
That's different because you get these guys. I mean, you watch games now, you get guys that's like 6-7 year, guys or something like that. But now if you get a guy that had to go JUCO 2 years, get in there, get a couple red shirts, and then push it out. You almost getting us to 8 years post high school of playing football, and everybody should have an opportunity to do what they want to do and stuff like that. But I feel like at some point, there's a window to where the next class of guys are coming in, and I mean everybody want to stretch to as much as you can, get as much school as you can, but you don't want that to hurt the younger people coming up too, when there's not as much spots to be filled. When when I was there, I mean, we had I graduated 3.5 years, played all 4 seasons, and then that was plenty enough college for me. I couldn't imagine being a 6-7 year guy still trying to but I mean at the end of the day, everybody's story different, and to each his own, but it's a different world, different game. And it's just based off, I guess, what the individual wants to accomplish.
So, Grady, let's get into talking about you here. What does it mean to you to be not picked by your teammates to be the Falcons Ed Block Courage Award recipient this year?
I mean, it means a lot, especially with it being an award that's voted on by your teammates and peers, and because they got a firsthand look of my being in the position I was, being leader of a team, and coming up on a short injury that shortened my season, and to be able to come back, strong and quick as I did, and just try to have a full training camp, full season as I had up to this point, just really try to just be a living example, and also just when you face adversity, that's what bring out the most, the best in man, as it should. I think adversity brings out the courage in us or the coward in us, and I think for me, I wanted it to be a sign of courage to be able to fight back hard as I could, to be able to get back and get back to the top of my game. And so it means a lot to be recognized, especially voted on by teammates to be an Ed Block Award recipient.
Grady, was this the first time you've ever had a major injury?
Yes, yeah, this was the first. This was the first season-ending injury that I've been through my whole career. I've been fortunate, to have, I've had a couple surgeries. Nothing that made me, have to end my season. But playing this game, we all get nicks and bruises. But this was the first one that really sat me down, and it was really a different experience, and something that definitely challenged me, and it was a new challenge, and something that I found to make me stronger in the end. So yeah, this is my first time going through it, and still being in it, and the things I have to do to maintain myself on a daily basis throughout, while also accomplishing having a full participation tag with practices and games all year is just something extra. It's a new challenge.
You know what, Grady? That's what I wanted to ask you about that. When you're in your 10th year now, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and coming in as a rookie, you have your little routine. It's not, you're kind of injury free. Everything is going cool. But I knew when I was in my 10th year, okay, and
Yep.
I had torn my Achilles by then. I had neck surgery and had a torn rotator cuff by then. And every time I went to that facility at 6 a.m., I was on that table, okay, with the rehab. And then I
Yep.
was on that table at the end of the day till about 7 at night, okay, every day. And let me ask you a question, man. How does that grind? Because I know that's intensified, but you just said your body maintenance. How was that grind? And does that take away from where you're trying to go in your career?
No, I think it adds to it, but like you say, man, it's definitely a grind, and that's the thing that people don't see. As they see us perform on game day, or they may say, "Oh, they practice hour or two a day." They don't understand that our work days can be 12 to almost 15-hour days.
Yes.
Through meetings, the before treatment, the after treatment, and that's just most of the time so we can get through practice. You understand? So
Yes.
people don't understand the whole scope of what it takes to go through, and when you it's all sweet to you. It's like everybody want to be in your shoes till they know what it takes to be in your shoes, and that's just one of the things where it's a grind, and you gotta. For me, I've always looked at it as something that added to my grind. Like when Dan Quinn coached me, he was talk about loading up your trunk. Loading up the trunk so on game day you could pop your trunk. And go to work, because as long as you putting in work, the more work you put in, you got more to reach back for when it's time to go to work. You know what I'm saying? So you can't, like you said, the work will always show for itself. You can't cheat the grind. And at the end of the day, if it make you have one better rep at practice that day, if you had to spend an extra 2-3 hours of treatment, it may be worth it, and it may be the difference between a player having a job and not having a job. And that's how serious we got to take our recovery.
So, Grady, as a former player, we all know that, when you go through these things, one of the hardest things is not just the physical toll that it takes on our body, but, there's a point where you understand why you get paid so much money, because you do have to reconcile the fact that you are destroying your body to a certain extent for that paycheck. How do you look at your body and longevity, and how you're going to take care of your body for the rest of your career and in your post career?
Yeah, your body is your temple. You gotta take care of it as best you can. And then this football thing, man, it's not a matter of if something's going to happen, it is when. And when that trauma comes to your body, is your body strong enough to withstand the blow? And that goes back to the training, the eating, the things you don't, like we talked about, spending them hours before and after practice that you don't want to do to extend your career. And that's why I'm here year 10. I mean, I did come off a major knee surgery, but I'm good as I've been, you know. And as far as the rest of my body, I feel strong as I've been. I feel very healthy. I lift a lot of weights in the off season. I run a lot, do a lot of treatment year round. And I think when you always keep your body in shape, you know, you keep pushing and you keep gradually getting better every year versus season, take it off, get back to ground zero. Now you got to build yourself back up just to get to the same point. And over the years, that just keep getting knocked down, getting knocked down. But now if you stay grinding, because the days you don't get back. People think you could just, you know, it's just, you know, make it up in a couple months. Because every day somebody putting in work, you can't never get those days back. So when you just stay on top of it, and it's just small steps day in and day out. Because at the end of the day, me keeping myself healthy for football has keeping myself healthy for life, you know. And I'm in a position where I'm not playing football to like I'm not in a position where I got to play and harm myself. That's going to damage my body for post career, you know. And I'm fortunate to be in that position, because if I was in that position where I'm hurt, bringing harm to myself, and doctor saying this, saying that, or you know, maybe you might need a, then it would be no reason for me to push my body into danger, you know. And but taking care of myself every year of my career has helped me be able to stay healthy, stay strong, and just always challenge myself to just be the best version of myself. You know, nothing more, nothing less, and doing it the right way, the hard way, the long way, and taking no shortcuts. Because at the end of the day, it's hard. You know, it's hard, and that's the mental part of it that a lot of people. Um, it's hard for people to deal with on a consistent basis. You know, one year you got one great year, you put in all this work, you put in all the work, but to do it year after year after year, you know, that's where guys, especially when you get taken care of financially, doing this and that, to continue to push yourself to that point that you got to push yourself to be the greatest you can be. It takes a lot, and it's more mental than physical.
Do you think, Grady, that your mindset is a little bit different in coming back from this injury because you're in year 10? Like, do you think you'd have a different mindset if, let's say, this was your second or third year and you had this ACL injury?
Oh man, I mean, absolutely. I mean, I think I would say in a mindset thing of it is like for me, it was like especially in year 10, it was a new challenge for me to overcome. That's how I could look at it. One, you know, I was in a position to wherever I was on my third contract. You know, I've been with the Falcons. You know, I felt good. I could have been like, you know, comfortable, like, you know, else it is what it is. You know, I might break it, but I took it as like a challenge, and I knew that this is another stepping stone for me to prove and that, you know, my circumstances don't dictate my effort. You know, my circumstances don't dictate the importance of what this game mean to me, and I'm gonna overcome this. And I was really in a position to where it really kicked a new fire in me, you know, to just to continue to come back, to try to be the best after going through something that's supposed to set you back for a long time. And mind you, I didn't have a camp injury. I didn't have a week 2. I had a middle of the season injury. So I didn't have a whole year to come back and be messing around. So by the time I finished surgery, I was on the grind, you know, and I knew the grind that I needed to put in. I had to really assemble the team that worked with me on the off season and stuff like that, and we had to go every day, you know, and that took me stepping away from work a little bit. And when I being on IR, I couldn't put in all the work, you know, doing like the you know, extra like meetings and stuff. But at the end of the day, you know, for me, I wasn't playing, and I'm going in year 10. I come back half stepping, I might not have the opportunity to, to revamp and to be where I need to be in my career. You know what I'm saying? There's still things I want to accomplish if I'm not right. So I had to really focus and just really challenge myself every day to to just push myself even and even reach out for help, as companies out there that reached out to me that I was a little, skeptical about. Sometimes things go and people want to, people want to help, but also people want to extend their brand and stuff too like that. But man, I had to take a leap of faith and work with a company called Accelerate ACL, and they definitely helped me, man. Like doing extra work that was along with my rehab, and it just pushed me to another level. Because I mean, if it happened a year two, year three, it's such you just don't know what you don't know in them years. Looking back at it now, and I'm sure it would have been a different thing, but I'm sure I would have still attacked it the same way.
Hey, talk about looking back, man. I just want to throw a shot out there as an offensive lineman. I mean, look, I thought in that that Super Bowl game that you were unstoppable in that damn game. I was like, Jesus Christ, can somebody block this dude, man? What the hell is going on?
Yes, sir. Thank you, man.
Yeah, man. But kind of fast forward to where we are right here today. We haven't transitioned ATL. It was imminent. Okay, it was imminent. It was going to happen. But what would you kind of give us a little feel about how the team is going? We're going with the Panic show now. All right, hey, that was there. Kirk Cousins was the guy that's supposed to pass the torch. Maybe came a little bit quicker than everybody expected. But what is the feeling in ATL right now and moving forward with that decision?
Definitely, we're excited for Michael to come in and get his opportunity. It's good when you have a first-round quarterback to go to when things aren't going right. But I'll be remiss to not speak on how much Kirk has meant to this team since he signed with us, just from a leadership standpoint and playing and executing standpoint. And he did definitely struggle the past couple weeks, which led to a demotion. But I don't that doesn't take away anything that he's done for us this season, man. He played some great ball at the beginning, won some games for us, man. We beat the Eagles on a Kirk Cousins led drive, on Monday Night Football. We beat the Bucks twice, with him at quarterback, and only only he truly knows, where the shift happened. But I would be remiss to not speak on how important he's been in the leap of faith he took to also come to Atlanta, to believe in us to try to achieve the things. But in present time, we are excited for Michael and to see what he's gonna do. But I mean, I've been practicing against him since training camp since he got here, but the ball come out his hand in a special way, man. I can't wait for people to see it firsthand, and I'm excited to see it, and with live bullets going. So it's a time where we playing football, we playing playoff football every game. We put ourselves in this position to lose the lead in the division. But as long as we control what we can going forward, that's all we can do. So every game counts. We can't afford to slip up and miss up. So we excited, man. We excited for the challenge for sure.
What does it mean to you, Grady? I mean, DC played for 3 teams in the NFL. Wally played for 3 teams in the NFL. You're on year 10 and you are still in the same spot that drafted you. What does that mean to you to be in one spot for your entire career?
It means a lot. It means a lot. It's definitely something that I've earned, every day. I understood that. I just wanted to put my best foot forward, man, and never get comfortable. Always try to improve. Always try to uplift others, and and along the way, give back to my community on the way. But like I say, anything, everything off the field is good and dandy. But I mean, if I ain't kicking butt on the field, man, it don't matter. So that just go, when you're in one place for 10 years. The division know you. Everybody that play the team, they're gonna know you. They're gonna try to do things to stop you. And just to continue to overcome that, week in and week out, it's just a great challenge. And I just really, really take pride in it. And I'm super blessed to be able to be an Atlanta Falcon going on year 10 and just try to, just really just being the best me, wherever it takes me. And it leads me here. And I continue to just give it my all every day.
Grady, as a card-carrying member of the 10-year Kick-Ass Club, Tell the people out there what it means to be a D lineman for 10 years. I know I got the pleasure of playing with guys like John Randall and Chris Dolman, and now you part of that legacy of guys that put in double digits in them trenches. What does that mean to you to know that you're a card carrying member?
Oh man, I mean it's an amazing feat, man. It feels amazing because when you're a young player, especially you get to like year 3, year 4, you like, all right, man, this thing, it's a lot. Got to do like, and everybody was really thinking they want that 10, right? So you're like, man, I got to do this 6, 7 more years in a row, and then but you just take it, but you just take it year by year, camp by camp, practice by practice, and before you look up, man, it feel like it was like a snap of a finger, man. So it means a lot. And to me, I mean, it's motivating. It's motivating to me to try to, just keep pushing. And my love for the game is as great as it's ever been. My love for competition, the excitement I get when I get to put them pads on and go compete, man, is something that's just unmatched, man. And I get this game, my all while I do it. To the day I can't do it, you know what I'm saying, I or don't have the love for it, I will never cheat this game. So I'm doing it, I'm loving it, and I'm gonna give my best.
When you look at your kids, do you wish that they're the kind of people that are hard enough to walk into 10 NFL training camps and to walk out of 10 NFL training camps knowing that they got a spot, knowing that they walked through 10 seasons and walked out of 10 seasons 10 toes down and going to stand up and be part of that club? Or are you glad they don't have to go through that?
Yeah, I mean, like if they want to do that, that's a choice they make, but they ain't got to do it. You know what I'm saying? And so that's a good feeling for sure. But I mean, the lessons that I learned for life, I wouldn't learn when not playing football, and that's just what that's been my vehicle, right? And I take a lot to I give a lot of the things I learned about life, stuff like that, and even teamwork and the relationship that I've had with guys throughout the years, man. Just friendship that I built, I owe it to this game, man. And I would love for my son to be able to experience that. Take the money away, take the everything that come with the game, like that kind of the vain stuff. I just like the lessons that the game teaches you, and there's some things that I can't teach him, you know what I'm saying? And some things that he had to go through himself. And I just think what a better vehicle than football to just, hard work, dedication, getting up after you get knocked down, going against people that's bigger than you, better than you, and just keeping you know what I'm saying? So those are lessons that I would want my kids to take away from playing sports. And then at the end of the day, they become great and they the number one player, D-Lineman or safety, whatever they end up becoming, and I'd be like, yeah, that's my son right there. I want to feel that pride too. So, but if it ain't that either, and you say, like, I played a little bit, and I learned this, that'll make me just as happy, So it's something to where it's not a it's not a do or die for them, you know what I'm saying? And he could be a smart kid too. He peeking in here right now, and but smart kid too. So he'll have plenty of options, man. His mother is an Ivy Leaguer, so she helped with the brains part of it too. I was all right. I was a good student too, man.
Legacy is solidified.
Yeah.
All right, Grady. We have to let you go. This has been a lot of fun. Congratulations on being an Ed Block Courage Award recipient. And hopefully, we get to see you again in March in Baltimore for the Courage Awards. And you get to come back on this podcast for a second time.
Man,
you gotta come, Grady. Come hang with us, man.
Come hang out with us, man.
Yeah, I got it on the schedule for sure.
All right.
Yes.
Well,
thank
Grady,
you.
by the way, you can see Grady Jarrett this weekend. They play the Giants in the Meadowlands. Or what? Sorry, not the Meadowlands, MetLife, because it's not the Meadowlands anymore.
We're actually gonna be in the Benz this week.
Oh shoot, I had that back. No, I'm sorry. They're at home this weekend against.
Can we get a hat trick?
Oh, I need it.
Can we get a hat trick?
Let's go. Let's go. Now, when I go get it, now you gotta say, like I told him to go get it, he went and got it.
You already know.
I'm gonna tip the hat now. Yeah,
I love it. We'll be watching. Grady, thank you for taking some time. We'll be back after this. Welcome back, as you can already tell, already in progress at Block Courage, guys. Our thanks to 2024 Ed Block Courage Award recipient with the Atlanta Falcons, Grady Jarrett. We have another former Ed Block Courage Award recipient with us right now. He is a longtime NFL player and coach, and he is DC's former coach. That would be Mike Tice is here joining us. Mike, thank you for taking some time. I'm going to start with the question I ask everybody. What did it mean to you to be an Ed Block Courage Award recipient?
Well, it's a very, very nice award because of what it stands for, about the kids and about giving back. You're recognized for some type of trial or tribulation that you might have gone on through the season, and your teammates vote, which is really very important. And it's a great honor.
Well, I'm gonna leave it to DC because he's dying to say something.
He could not wait for you to get on right now. So this is his show right now. You guys, all right, bring it out on DC. Bring it out on DC.
Mike, let me start with a softball question. I want these guys to have a little bit of fun knowing our Skull legacy. So around the Winter Park, we used to have what is known as a Big Jim's grease sandwich every day for breakfast. Can you tell the world what goes into a Big Jim's grease sandwich and why it was so important to the success of the Vikings in the early 90s and mid 90s?
Well, was it double pork and double meat and eggs? Oh man, Big Jim, God bless him, man. Did he put on a show? He fed us, but didn't he?
He did, man. Every day we had Thanksgiving at the Vikings facility. I don't think there was a day we didn't have Thanksgiving.
No, it was like, thank God we didn't hire a nutritionist. They might have put the clamps on old Big Jim.
Tell them about the fried catfish and the fried chicken and the sweet potato pies and greens every day.
Oh, it was so good. It was so good. I mean, we loved eating like that. You burn off a lot of calories when you're playing football. Maybe it wasn't so good for us coaches all to eat like that, though.
Yeah, I mean, God bless them, but we did lose some people. Wally and Dave, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, God rest their soul. We lost some people, man. So Big Jim had us full, but I don't know if it was the best for our arteries and our hearts because I think some guys paid the price.
I mean, look, you guys is lines, okay? I'm not gonna lie. There were some teams that just had big ass players, okay? Ooh. And collectively, you guys had some big ass players. Okay?
Yeah,
it was just some teams like the Giants.
It was one of the things that was important. I mean, especially offensively, we were looking for big athletes. So we wanted big guys that were good athletes, not big guys that, couldn't change direction. So that's what we were looking for. And Denny did a great job of, allowing coaches to have input, scouts to have input, and picking the right guy most of the time.
Now, hey, what I wanted to know, and I was actually saying this before you got on the air, I mean, you tell me how likely it is or how, often that a player walks right off the field and goes right into coaching. Okay, so did you foment that like a couple of years as a player and say, this is what I want to do? I mean, just how was that transition?
Well, first of all, I wasn't a star. I was a backup tight end. Most of the starts that I had in my career were two tight ends started the game. So I was the second tight end. So I got credit with starting the game. Mm-hmm. So I had to look for something to do, after football. Football lasted probably a little longer than I thought it would, 14 years. And I wanted to get into teaching. And so teaching young men how to be really good players is a lot of fun, and you're giving back. So I knew I wanted to coach. And the opportunity arose when I came back to play in '94 for Denny, when Tony Dungy got the head job at Tampa, and he took Chris Furster, who's now with the San Francisco 49ers as run game coordinator, took him with him, and the tight end job opened up because Chris was coaching tight ends, and Tony took him to Tampa to coach O-line. And then he offered me the job. It was just like one of those right spot, right time as far as getting the job. And it worked out great. It's a little awkward, though, when you go right from playing to, having to correct some of the guys you were sitting next to in the room. And, and there was at times with some of the veteran O-linemen, some friction, because not friction as far as fights, but sometimes it's like, now you're telling me what to do. And
Right. Get your ass out of here,
Talk
Mike.
about guys like Randall
we saw you
McDaniel.
mess
Like,
up your
what's
shit
that like
last
when
year,
you got
man?
a
What you
Hall of
telling us?
Famer and you guys used to be next to each other?
Well, Randall McDaniel is one of those great players that only comes along once in a while. And so the difference between great players and average players, great players are going to dictate how they want things around them and their surroundings. And sometimes you just got to just deal with it.
So Wally and I both coach at the high school level. For you, Mike, you talk about that all of a sudden going to guys that you were playing with 1 year, now you're coaching them. How long before you kind of felt like you found your voice as a coach? Because that's a big thing, and that's a hurdle that we all face when we get into it.
My players played well, so I guess I had a good enough voice. So, your resume as a coach is not something you type up. It's the players on the field, how they play. And so I'll let my resume speak for itself. I'm getting old. I don't remember a lot of stuff you guys are talking about. I'll be honest with you. I'm like, really? Okay.
So, Mike,
remember the catfish, though.
So, Mike, let me remind you of something. A lot of people don't give you enough credit for you. You had such a prolific winning record and played and had so many prolific offensive lines in the early 90s. But I watched you go through Warren Moon, Brad Johnson, the gunslinger, from Atlanta,
yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Jeff George,
to
Randall Cunningham, to Dante Culpepper. And when I tell you, in like a 4-year span, I watched Mike have to go through all these different quarterbacks, and every last one of them played great. There was never a fall off. It seemed like no matter who was back there, your own line was able to keep them upright and comfortable, and all of them had great success. I mean, I guess it doesn't hurt to have Chris Carter and Randy Moss, to throw to.
Jake Reed, Robert Smith. I mean, come on.
Yeah, you had some
Andrew
pieces around
Glover,
you,
all those guys like
but that O-line was it never seemed like it got weird for you guys going through all those transitions.
Well, we had a good group of guys. They worked hard together, and they were very intelligent, and that's really important, because they can, if you have to change, smart players are able to adapt.
Oh,
we're quiet there.
Sorry,
I didn't want to keep going unless
I was looking up something. Mike, you were an East Coast guy. Here's my favorite question. You grew up in New York and Suffolk. You went to Maryland. Now look, East Coast winters here can be kind of tough in the East Coast. What was it like having to go to Minnesota and deal with those winters?
I don't know if DC said the same thing, but there was a couple weeks every winter where it wasn't just cold. We called it effing cold, because it was so cold. I'm gonna stay G for you guys. And it was so cold, you couldn't breathe. -10 is -10. It's like being in Vegas and it's 118. People say, oh, it's a dry heat. Yeah, right. Okay, 118 is 118. Don't give me that dry heat. don't give me that. -10 is -10. It's cold. Yeah, it was tough.
You remember putting on every single thing you had in your locker? Like that, I remember those days where literally everything I had in my locker, I put on.
Yeah, you were afraid if you fell on the ground, you couldn't get up.
Yes.
You'd be like the Michelin Man.
We were just like penguins out there.
Yeah. You were worried about going down on the ground, you couldn't get up.
Hey, I mean, as your time, and it's a long time, and man, I'm sitting there looking at. I was just putting together the years from your rookie year, okay, to your last year, just in the NFL as a coach and everything like that. I mean, just incredible time there. Can you give me like a couple situations, a couple, moments there during that time, like aha moments or oh shit moments, when you run up a guy. For me, coming in as a young guy, my second year, I remember playing against Ronnie Lott, okay? And I'm on the field. I just saw the highlights, and he ran up in the box like this, and I was like, oh, shit, there's Ronnie Lott. It's kind of like, one of those things, like I'm actually here, and I'm seeing this guy, and Reggie White. So, Can you give me some guy that you crossed paths with? You was like, man, this right here could be a problem on either way today.
It wasn't either way. It was always one way. It was always me that had the problem. So there's a couple of guys in the league that give you those memorable moments. One of them you just talked about, Reggie White, having to block him. But I'll never forget, as a young player in I don't know, it could have been 82 during the strike, but it was either 81, no, it couldn't have been 81 because Chuck Knox was our coach. So it was like 82, 83. So anyway, we're playing the Raiders, and I'm playing tight end. And back then, you used to kind of leg whip dudes when you're running the ball outside.
Oh,
we
yeah.
call it the reverse pivot. That was the polite name in the playbook, but what it really was a leg whip. So I got a leg whip Matusak. John Matusak. And I'm a skinny 235-pound tight end converting from quarterback from the University of Maryland.
This is big bearded up like movie John Matusak that you
his head was that big. It was like a manhole. It was like a manhole cover. At least I thought it was. So now I'm a young player. So what I do, because I'm nervous, I played quarterback like 6 months ago. And so now I must have been facing him on an angle, because he leaned out to me and turned his head and said, "Boy, if you cut me, I'm gonna whip your ass." I was laid off the ball. He made a play in the backfield. And Chuck Knox pulled me off the field. He was so pissed. I was like, damn. I want to say, damn, Chuck, that dude's big, man. I'm gonna leave you with that. That's good.
So I gotta bring up something a little bit painful, Mike Tyson. We went through this together. And I've talked to like Chris Carter about it. I've talked to Randy about it. I've talked to Johnny and Rob. But when that kick went wide left, how did you feel about special teams and kickers? Did it change the way you felt about kickers after losing that opportunity to go to the Super Bowl after having a perfect?
That was a crushing moment for all of us. Having played so hard and having such a great season and everybody, getting along. It was just like a gifted season. And then to have it end on a kick, we could have done some things differently in that game that still bother me, but we won't get to those. But that was awful, man. And then, it kind of changes your confidence a little bit. You say, man, I did everything. And I did it right, and then all of a sudden you don't take home the big victory. That hurts, man. That crushes you. That would still stick to you.
Kickers, Tice. I don't know how to like them anymore.
Well, they're all having a bad year this year. Look at Justin Tucker from the Raiders.
Oh yeah.
Something's up with the kickers.
If I was a coach, I would never leave the game up to the smallest, weakest guy on the team. I just look at him like, no. It's not coming down to you.
Well, let me ask you guys, what do you think of the new kickoff return?
I mean, that's fine with me. The less responsibility you give them, the better, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, hey, speaking of that, kickoff return.
Yeah, what do you think of it?
Minnesota moment. This is a Minnesota moment. Played for the Saints. You guys came down to the Alamo Dome for a preseason game, okay? And we played you guys down there. Who was that hard-head, knucklehead ass damn gunner y'all had running downfield that was the wedge bust on kickoff team?
Harold Morrow.
Okay.
Number 33. Number 33.
Right. Okay, yeah. Him.
Harold Morrow.
Yes, him. See, Dave, you got to go back now. When we played this other violent game, we had guys who did nothing but wedge bust. Okay, on special teams during that time. Okay. And my guy from Minnesota knocked out one of our offensive linemen, okay? And when he knocked him out, he was still standing up.
Oh.
And he walked off the field, okay? And the play was still going. He got hit, he stood up, he just turned and walked off the field and sat down. And when we looked at him, he was asleep, like he was like snoring.
Yeah.
Self-preservation kicked in, autopilot.
And then they come in and they do the test they used to do when you got knocked out. They put the pen there and say, follow the pen, follow the pen. We're in Dallas playing the Cowboys. What city are we in? Oh, Dallas. Yeah, you're
Right.
good to go. Get back in there.
Right.
That used to be the concussion test.
That's a good. Hey, so I mean, look, I want the old stuff back. I don't like this new rule, man. I don't like it.
That's
Okay,
why I asked. I don't like it either. Well, I'm gonna head down. I got my grandson over, guys, so I'm gonna head out. Maybe we'll do this again, huh?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
Mike.
Mike.
We'd love to
Thank
have
you,
you
bro.
back on.
All right, man. Have a great Christmas, y'all.
You
All
too.
right, man.
Take care,
Appreciate it.
Mike.
All right, man.
All right, we have one more guest, and I have to correct myself. It is not Sam Barber. It is Shawn Barber. DC's buddy is going to join us here in a moment. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Ed Block CourageCast, our final show of 2024. I've already screwed the name up, so I'm going to turn this guy over to our co-host, Duane Clemons, because he booked him. So, DC, why don't you introduce our final pod guest for tonight?
Thank you, Dave. Tonight, I want to introduce a special friend, former teammate, former Philadelphia Eagle, Washington Redskins, long before they were Commanders, a Houston Texan. But, you know, right now he's most near and dear to me as a Chiefs ambassador, my brother from another mother, Shawn, BarberShop.
Hey, D. Clem, man, love to be in the building. Man, any questions we got about the upcoming Chiefs, about the courage, about anything, man, my life is an open book for you, my brother. I know you can see it's like I'm in a movie set for Halloween, but I'm in Kansas City. I'm at the Outlaw Brewery up north. My man, Kendall, Doc, all the guys that own this own this cigar lounge and brewery. Man, they're doing some big things in Kansas City. Hopefully at the end of the podcast, before it's over, we can do a little video tour so you can really see what this building is all about, man. This is phenomenal here in Kansas City.
So when you're a champion or multi-champion, you know, these are the type of things that go on in your life. You know, you get this kind of carte blanche to this kind of service. Tell them about the savoir faire that you enjoy as a member of the Chiefs ambassadors and as a current commander in the Chiefs Kingdom.
Well, the Chiefs Kingdom is what it is, man. From a service standpoint, you know, I'm really big in the ministry, attend Church of the Harvest. I do men's leadership there. I serve on a board with Kids TLC out in Olathe to help kids that are dealing with trauma. Man, our entire Chiefs Ambassador organization, you are one of many of the guys. We have 59 members right now. Of the 59 members, I think 15 are out of town like yourself. You always represent the East Coast, man. Baltimore's finest, holding us down from B-More. But from Baltimore to the West Coast, all the way back to the Midwest, we have phenomenal ambassadors that are just a brand awareness. We just want to be a service arm to the Chiefs, helping our community in any way possible, whether it's kissing babies, going to old people's homes, helping people in nursing homes, reading to people during Dr. Seuss Day, delivering bikes for young kids or people who are not enjoying Christmas. Whatever the task is, man, our ambassadors, we try to really show up and show out, answer the call in the community. And so, again, Clem, you're one of us. You're a brother of arms. We love you like you here, man. But you've been holding it down on Baltimore side, man, on the East Coast. Man, you do more out there than some guys do here. So, man, we love you, brother.
Hey,
love you.
Look, DC is the only Chiefs fan in Baltimore. You hear me? All right. It's all Ravens there. That's it. Okay. He's the only one. And we let him in the door. You know what I'm saying? So, and you too. All right. You a Virginia guy. I don't care what you say. You a Redskin. You ain't even no Commander.
Yeah, you're right. I was. I mean, listen, born and raised in Richmond, Virginia, University of Richmond grad. I'm a Richmond Spider. My blood gonna bleed what it bleed. I'm a Spider for life. Going from team to team. Yes, I played for the Redskins for a while. Then I went to Philadelphia. A year under Andy Reid's, Coach Spagnuolo. Came out to Kansas City. Spent 3 years out here. Then went back to Philadelphia. Another year with Andy, and then my last year with the Houston Texans with Coach Kubiak. But once it was all said and done, man, these Midwest values. I got 5 boys and a girl. Son that works for the Chiefs. I got a son that plays for the Royals. My daughter just got accepted to Alabama. And then I got 3 young boys all coming up. My youngest, Cade, is a stud. So he's going to be the one to follow in his old man's footsteps, I think, and hits that gridiron. But, man, listen, my wife, she's an angel. She's my better half, my best half, my partner for life, man, Nicole. Her and her family has been just a love affair, man. 20 years. We celebrate 20 years of marriage, man. Just it's been amazing, man. Wouldn't do anything different.
Hey, talk about that for a second, because really, do I get a guy that came from, the 1AA sector, the FCS sector right there, and go through that process of being playing in the league as long as you played. So kind of take us back a little bit to making that transition from Richmond and then actually playing for the hometown team, okay, pretty much, and making that your first stop in the NFL.
Man, it was tough, man. Obviously growing up, I grew up in the Richmond area. All my friends was Redskins or Dallas fans growing up. Being drafted by one of the local teams was amazing. Man, I thought the whole University of Richmond came up to DC every weekend to watch me play. So my paycheck was getting spent on tickets. I was buying, 25, 30 tickets every game. So that, the guy who's getting drafted in the 4th round, I didn't really make a bunch of money. But it was good. It was good living, man. I wouldn't change anything because it's led me to the guy I am today. I made a lot of mistakes. I made things I'm not proud of back in those days. But man, we had a fun time. It was a fun ride. I brought all my homies with me, man, and we landed in Ashburn, Virginia. We rode around the Beltway, started trouble on the B-Moore side.
Mm-hmm.
It was always a classic weekend to come up, hang out in DC with BarberShop. Man, my brother Stephon, he was our VIP pass to all the clubs and everything. He was a club promoter, so I can't thank him enough for keeping me like my nose clean and out of trouble. So I give him a lot of love. But man, I just grew up with a good group of guys. Man, it was 10 of us. We still strong to this day. They made sure I didn't get no serious trouble while I was in DC. There was ample opportunity for me to go.
Hey man, I'm gonna just put it out there for you. Let me go ahead and tell the people out there what the trouble was during that time. I was there at the same time with you. All right, DC Live, Ozios,
oh my goodness,
Zanzibar, Public Garden.
Oh yeah. Anything on you name the letter: G Street, D Street, D Street,
U Street.
Northwest. Man, DC Live was new. It was brand new.
New.
What went on in the fourth? What went on in the 4th floor at DC Live stays there. Like we are not digging up those bones. We're gonna leave them skeletons buried, bro. We're gonna leave them, Lord. But it went down, bro.
It went down.
So BarberShop, I want to tell the world about your real superpower. So people don't understand BarberShop. There's a lot of dudes I respect, but BarberShop has the utmost respect when it comes to the fatherhood game. This man is it. Hall of Fame, first ballot, no question. This dude be out here with his kids doing his thing. And BarberShop, first of all, take us through the family. I don't want to get the number wrong. The man got kids. He take care of them.
I heard him say 5.
He's intentional, and he got a lot of work on his hand.
Yes.
Yeah. So, man, listen, father of 5 boys and a girl. My princess, she got me wrapped around her finger. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know how to raise a girl any other way but to spoil him. I'm trying to make sure that the image she has of a man is a man that's going to support her mentally, physically, emotionally, going to always have her back, going to protect her, provide for her in every means of the way. So I'm trying to set that bar, like Coach Tomlin said, the standard is a standard. So she's going to be out there searching for somebody to take care of her like her dad, better than her dad. And so I ain't got to worry about that. I got 5 boys. They got to make it through all 5 of them before they get to me. So these young soldiers I'm raising, man, it's yes, ma'am, yes, sir. It's respect. You give everybody your attention. You look people in the eyes. You stand behind your word. When you say you're gonna be somewhere, you be somewhere. You do what you're gonna say. So I'm trying to raise, man, some faithful, respectful, dedicated, just young warriors that will fight for their faith, fight for their loved ones, fight for their family, and understand at all costs, man, it's faith comes first. Faith before anything. I wear my faith on my sleeve. Patience is a virtue. Galatians 5:22 is the fruits of the spirit. Of those, Galatians 23 says, self-control is the most important one. So the world will throw you some curveballs. There's some things in life you can't control, but you can control yourself. So I don't want to hear about nobody hitting you and you couldn't, oh, I was so mad. No, you control yourself in every sense of the word. You don't let life put you in the corner where you got to react. You think about it. You stop, think, and react and anticipate, and then you respond to life. You don't let your life get to a point where you're out of control. So that's my I preach that to my kids. I mean, from the time they little kids to they out of my house. If you come back to my house, the standard is the standard, like I said.
That's right.
We got house rules, bro. We got house rules.
Right.
So what is that challenge like? And I open this up for everybody here on this show. What is that like, trying to instill these values while also playing and basically working such a demanding job like being an NFL player?
I think you got to really pick a woman who's equally yoked. Like I said, I was lucky to find the wife I have right now. She's my rock. Like again, we focus on God. We keep God as a focal point of our relationship. But when I was playing, she held it down. She was at the house. She was being the mom and the dad. She was setting the rules. I would come home late, tired, and I just had to kind of respond to what the tempo and the environment she was already setting. In a lot of ways, she was asked to raise some young men for the first couple of years until I retired in 2007. And then when I came back home, to be honest, I kind of messed up the pace she was setting. And so anything that didn't go right after that was probably mostly my fault, because I'm interjecting my thoughts into something she already had going so smoothly. We found a way, man. We found a way to just, again, focus on God and pray for our kids and just be really understanding, really be open-minded, allowing our kids to talk to us about anything and not overreacting to it. Understanding that they are young, they're going to make mistakes. Failure is okay as long as you don't quit. You're not going to be perfect in everything you do or say. Continuously just looking for them to have growth. Growth in success, growth in trying, growth in failure, growth in just putting them in different opportunities, not always putting them in what they wanted to be in. As parents, sometimes we got to tell them, hey, you got to try this food. You got to try this sport. You got to try this workout. You got to try this. There's things in life you got to try because you don't know what you don't know until you try it. And it's okay failing. But what we weren't going to have is our kids be involved in stuff and not give their best, your best effort in everything you do, whether it's in the classroom, on the field, at home, when it comes to being in your chores, being a brother, a sister, being a sibling, being a son. Doing your best was, that was, I would say effort and attitude are, those are things we're not going to deviate from those things. You're going to give great effort and show positive attitude about everything you do, or I guess you have to deal with me.
Hey, when I retired, you said something about, the kids, and you have five. I have five as well. So when I remember when I retired, and, my kids were maybe like 4 or 5 when I retired. Yeah. And, we're not doing the NFL thing anymore. And we're at a high school game. So my daughter looks over at me and she's like, Dad, where's the food? I'm like, what are you talking about? Where's the wings? And because she used to sit up in the box, you know what I'm saying? Watching Dad play. Okay. She was like, well, what is this high school stuff right here? I don't like this, So I thought to myself, I was like, I'm gonna have to do something to ground these.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
So we do what we do, and we do spoil our kids. But in how do you keep those guys grounded? Let them know, like, hey, Dad make this look easy now. Everybody can't do what Dad was able to do and afford you this kind of lifestyle. You have to work at this. So how did you preach that lesson with your kids and keep them right there?
Man, that's a tough. Everybody's got to be individually. Every kid got their own personality, and so you kind of got to break it down to everybody a little bit differently. Mm-hmm. Not everybody's going to understand this, but like the law of the nature is, you eat what you kill. You don't eat what I kill. So, all right, I went out there and sacrificed my body, my time. 5 years at Richmond, the years at the Reds, like 10 years in NFL, so that I could, live comfortably with my family out in the Midwest and provide for my family. You're a member of that family, but you're only on my you only got your hand in my pocket till you turn 18, and then there's an expectation for you to go get a job and earn your own, kill your own food, be able to survive for yourself. Now, I'm going to always have a level of interest in what you do, and if you're a party promoter, I'm going to be there to party with you. If you are a car detailer, you're going to do all my cars every week, and I'm going to pay you twice what you're charging everybody else. If you're walking dogs, I'm going to go out and be at every corner telling you how everybody on my block, hey, if you need your dog walked, my daughter or my son is the best dog walker in America, da-da-da-da. So I'm going to be your biggest fan, your biggest cheerleader, but you're not going to be eating off my plate your entire life. Never. That is just not the way I was built. That's not the way my dad built me. So that's not the way my kids going to go. So I don't know if it's I don't really fall for this generation is entitled and all that. I kind of blame it on the parents. If your kids are entitled, it's because you allowed them to be entitled. And if that's something's wrong with this generation, we want to say they're entitled, we got to take responsibility as parents and say we were too soft on them. So I don't really go with statistics, and I don't go with generational X, Y, and Z. I mean, I'm very hands-on, and I'm very communicative, and me and my kids have a lot of discussions. Maybe some discussions that other parents would just say, do as I say. Like, the reason you got to do it is because I said so. I'm really concerned with my kids knowing why I said it. What is the purpose of what I said? And let me showing them how it's going to improve their quality of life and how it's going to make them a better man or a better young lady. So I walk them through like my thought process of why we're doing what we're doing. We don't do sleepovers. We're not doing, we don't expect anybody to be drinking underage. We're not having boyfriend and girlfriends until you get to the 11th, 12th grade. We're not doing all this underage. Like a lot of the stuff that's going on in other households, it's just like, I'm sorry that your friends are allowed to do that, but in my house, you're not allowed to do that. And so you should tell your friends what you're not allowed to do so they don't come over here and I have to kick both of y'all out. So it's a very, like I said, my wife and I, we look at each other and we're very persistent in how we raise kids. We have conversations before we talk to the kids. You don't talk to her and then talk to me or one of us. If you have an idea, if you have something you want to do, you have something you want to potentially do down the road, dating or go on a dance or what dress to wear, you can present that to one of us, but we're going to talk about it as a couple before we give you a final answer. And so don't be popping no questions on us at the last second. Don't be thinking we're going to extend your curfew an extra 30 minutes or an hour just because you call and come up with some excuse. No, that's just, those things are just not, they're non-negotiable, so don't try it. You ain't the only kid in this house, and because we let you do it, don't mean we got to let everybody else do it. So a lot of those things are just over time. I think our kids just have understanding, like, man, that just don't float in my house. So like, I can hang out with y'all a little bit, man, but at midnight, I better be in my room, like not coming in the house, but I better, my house locks down at midnight. So.
Barbershop, take us back to when you won the Ed Block Courage Award and what it meant to you and the adversity that you went through and how that's translated to who you are in your second life off the field.
Man, the Ed Block Courage Award, I received that when I was with the Philadelphia Eagles. And it was an honor because I know that the team votes on that award. It's like a comeback player, but it's voted on by your teammates. And you get nominated, I think it was, you get nominated by the trainer, or they make nominations. And they say, all right, we got these 4 or 5 players. And then the team actually nominates who wins that award. So being a first-year guy in Philadelphia, like, I mean, I had teammates, but it wasn't like I was there drafted. It wasn't like I was one of, like, I wasn't an original Philly guy. So to come in there and in my first year, coming off of I had an ACL repair, knee repair. So I had to prove that I was healthy. I had to earn my way back on the field. I started out the first few weeks of training camp being the 4th linebacker, backup wheel linebacker. And then through training camp, I kept working my way to get back on that field, showing my playmaking ability, showing that I was back to being the playmaker I was when I was at the height of my career, that 3rd year with the Washington Redskins at the time. But all in all, man, it was like that Ed Block's Courage Award showed me that my teammates respected my hard work, my dedication, all the fight it took to get back on the field. Most guys, I think, after ACL surgery, you don't really feel like yourself until a whole another year afterwards. It's like 2 years removed, you start feeling like yourself. The training staff, Rick Burkhalter, Dr. Andrews down in Alabama who did the surgery, Kevin Wilkes, the guy he was a rehab specialist down in Alabama. I think he runs a facility now called like Champions Physical Therapy or something like that. All of those guys, they push me to the limit. Push me until you break me. And I'm going to come back the next day stronger. Just keep pushing me until you break me. And I'm telling you, I'm going to come back stronger. Yeah, I kind of checked my feelings and my emotions at the door. I know that wasn't going to be the end of my career. I did not want to end my career because of an injury. I wanted to go out on my own, on my own 2 feet. And I wanted to, when I hang these cleats up, it's because I didn't want to play no more, not because no injury took me out. So again, I think the Ed Block Courage Award is just a sign of, all those rehab days, man, the Vertimax, the vertical boxes, the box jumps, the single leg squats, the Romanian dead. I mean, all that BS, man, all that stuff we had to do to put our bodies through just to, break it down, to build it up over and over and over again, to be strong enough to go out there and be explosive and be, have courage and have, it's called a Courage Award for a reason, because I think it takes a lot of courage to go back out there after injury. You got to trust your body again. You'll never be the same. You don't feel the same, but you got to go out there and play with reckless abandon again. And so I think that I emulated that and I showcased that to my teammates, and I was proud to be a recipient of that award.
I got to ask, because part of your bio, reading up on it, you had a career-long 80-yard touchdown.
I was fast, bro.
Take me inside that play, and was there ever any doubt that you might get caught?
Hey, Clem, tell him it ain't no chance I get caught now.
You got the wheels
there's
now.
some linebackers, there's some beat guys get interception, and they start looking back too early. Bro, my eyes are looking forward the whole time, because like the only thing that's gonna stop me is if I trip up. Ain't nobody catching BarberShop from behind. That's the one thing. When I came out of University of Richmond, we had a great speed program. Our strength and speed program was phenomenal. Creating explosive hip movement. We was all about explosive. I think the one program in college that was similar to what I did, there's a guy named Kaz who used to be with the Chiefs. He's now at TCU, I think. Some of those athletes that come out of TCU, if you ask them, talk about their explosive movement routine, the things they do to get their body ready for football when it comes to explosive movements, that was something I was doing back at Richmond before I think it was popular. And so I worked myself down to like a 4.44 40. I was 227 pounds. So that combination kind of, hips of a safety, but I could hit like outside linebacker. It was a good mix. I played wide receiver in high school, so I had really good hands. I had a good feel of the passing game and where quarterbacks were trying to, in certain zones, there's a soft spot, there's a vacant area. So I kind of knew what that was. I knew what the quarterback would think the hole in the defense was. And so I don't know, man. I just I tried to be the quarterback of the defense, and it was a game of chess out there. So I was able to get my hands on a few balls, but yeah, if I got my hands on it in the right point, in the right place and time, I was definitely taking back for a pick six.
So Dave, can we end this on a high note?
I think we gotta let BarberShop give us a tour of where he is right now before we get out of here. And
all right, let's do it.
Just for the audio only crowd, this podcast is available on YouTube. We will try our best, by the way, to describe what we're seeing right now. Or I will let Shawn kind of, as you walk, tell us what everybody can see that's just listening to this pod.
All right, so right now, man, like I said, if you come to Kansas City, there's a cigar spot called Outlaw, and it's up north. Phenomenal place. It's a brewery. They have their own brewery here, but it's thousands and thousands of square foot, big screen TV, hundreds of inches of TVs. all these areas for guys to sit out. You can have business meetings. You can come out, have a little cigar. Definitely get yourself some brewskis. The owner is a guy named Kendall. Kendall takes care of the alumni and our ambassadors. Whenever we are up here, all our guys come through and stop. So I'm still walking from one end to the other. As you can tell, TVs after TVs after TVs. Hey, man, this is my man, AB. AB done showed up. What up, fellas? My son. Hey,
What's happening?
an opportunity. Widow Jane, bro. Hey, Widow Jane. Widow Jane is what you do, brother. You got me hooked, bro. So, man, as you can tell, man, in Kansas City, it's all love. It's just a brotherhood. No matter where you go in the outlaw, man, it's cigars, it's cigars, it's cigars. This is one quiet room, so you don't. That's the cigar lounge, the lockers. Man, it's again, it's a phenomenal place. They got a whole nother location down south. I'm a southern guy in Kansas City, so I live down south in Overland Park. So if I don't feel like driving up, man, I can go to the Outlaw down south. But man, shout out to Kendall, shout out to Doc, all the employees here. We're Outlaw, and always, man, it's always family. Wherever you go, man, it's family. So, yeah, man, I'll say, oh, this is the crew right here. That's the crew, boy.
Real live boy stuff right there.
That's right.
That's the crew, man. Man, Roy, dog.
Well, BarberShop, thank you so much,
Duane,
man, for
Duane
doing
Clemons.
this for us.
What's up, fellas? D-Clem, he got his own podcast called Courage Podcast. Ex-Ed Block Award winners get on. You gotta send me the link. I'll send you the link, dog. So,
Look at this. We're promoting this show all
There you
over
go.
the place. There it
There you
is.
go.
So, BarberShop, before you jump off, tell us about your podcast real quick.
all right, yes, sir. So my own podcast, man, I got a podcast. It is called The Process, where the process is greater than what it produces. It's on the KCSN platform, Spotify, YouTube, all the different platforms. If you look up The Process, Shawn Barber, you'll see it. Man, I give a little bit of wisdom. Like I said, man, a lot of times the standard is what it is. I don't cut no corners, man. I break down film. I talk about the pros and cons of what's going on with the Chiefs. But I always find a way to bring it back to faith, family, and football, man, the things that matter most to me. Give a little divine intervention, a little encouragement for our ambassadors, our alumni. They get shout outs. I always got another Chiefs alumni on there with me. So I've had Dante Hall, Deron Cherry, Ted McKnight, Bobby, all these guys each year. Jason Dunn was on a few weeks ago, man. So we try to have some of the best. Trent Green is regular on there. Kevin Lockett, Billy numerous guys. So we're just always chopping it up.
And I'm coming on for the new year, right? We kicking
Yes,
it
sir.
off?
Yes, sir. D. Clem is the guest for the new year. He's ringing in the new year with us on The Process. So again, man, we love to be able to be on different streams and lives and platforms just to talk about a lot of the things that are going on in our lives as former players. But man, hey, D. Clem, you are killing it, man, back on that East Coast. You do me proud. I love to call you a brother and a friend, a teammate, alumni, ambassador, alumni, all the feathers you put in your hat, man. But you also are a great entrepreneur, man, great father, man. Hey, listen, I know them dogs. You got them dogs. You take care of them dogs. Yeah. You always got them dogs barking, man. So, man, you just do a phenomenal job, man. So I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you. And just to let the our podcast world know, the ambassadors actually made this relationship possible. They sent me out here to accept an award for Patrick Mahomes. I met David, I met Wally, I met D. Brooks, and it's been magical ever since. So thank you guys for allowing me to come out here and represent the Chiefs organization on the East Coast.
Yeah, we tolerate it. We tolerate it. All right, Shawn, thank you for joining us. Our thanks to Mike Tice, to Grady Jarrett, to all our wonderful guests that have joined us this year on the Ed Block CourageCast. This is our final show of 2024. We hope you have a Merry Christmas, a Happy Holidays, a Happy New Year. We have a lot of great stuff coming forward in 2025. We cannot wait. So from everybody at the Ed Block Courage Award Foundation, have a happy and safe holidays. We'll talk to you in the new year.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.